Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की, श्री प्रहलाद नरसिंहदेव भगवान की, श्री ताई गौर सुंदर की, पतित पावन प्रभुपाद की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। Taking from Granth Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5th, Chapter 1st, entitled is The Activities of Maharaj Privrata, and text number 35. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Patit Pavan Prabhupada ki jai. Naivam vidha purusha kara urukramasya नैवं विध पुरुषकार उरुक्रमस्य पुंसां तदङ्घ्रिरजसजित सदगुणानाम् पुंसां तदङ्घ्रिरजसाजित सदगुणानाम् चित्रं विदुरविगता सकृद् आददीता चित्रं विदुरविगता सकृद् आददीता यन्नामधेयम् अधुना स जहाति बन्धम् यन्नामधेयम् अधुना स जहाति बन्धम् नैवं विद पुरुषकार उरुक्रमस्य पुंसां तद् अङ्घ्रिरजसाजित सद्गुणानाम् चित्रं विदुरविगता सकृद् आददीता यन्नामधेयम् अधुना स जहाति बन्धम् नैवं विदः पुरुषकार उरुक्रमस्य पुंसां तद् अङ्घ्रिरजसाजित सद्गुणानाम् चित्रं विदुरविगता सकृद् आददीता यन्नामधेयम् अधुना स जहाति बन्धम् नैवं विद पुरुषकार उरुक्रमस्य पुंसां तदङ्घ्रिरजसाजित सद्गुणानाम् चित्रं विदुरविगता सकृद् आददीता यन्नामधेयम् अधुना स जहाति बन्धम्. Word for word meaning? No, not. Even evam vidah, like that. Purushakara, personal influence. Urukramasya, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pumsam, of the devotees. Tad Angri, of his lotus feet. Rajasa, by the dust. Jita Sad Gunanam, who have conquered the influence of 6 kinds of material whips. Chitram, wonderful. Vidura Vigataha, the fifth great person, or untouchable, Sakrit, only once, Adadita, if he utters, Yat, whose, Namadheyam, holy name, Aduna, immediately, Sa, he, Jahati, gives up, Bandham, material bondage. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: My dear king, a devotee who has taken shelter of the dust from the lotus feet of the Lord can transcend the influence of the six material whips, namely hunger, thirst, lamentation, illusion, old age and death. And he can conquer the mind and five senses. However, this is not very wonderful for a pure devotee of the Lord, because even a person beyond the jurisdiction of the four castes, in other words, an untouchable, is immediately relieved of bondage to material existence if he utters the holy names of the Lord even once. Once again, translation. My dear king, a devotee who has taken shelter of the dust from the lotus feet of the Lord can transcend the influence of the six material whips, namely hunger, thirst, lamentation, illusion, old age and death, and he can conquer the mind and five senses. However, this is not very wonderful for a pure devotee of the Lord, because even a person beyond the jurisdiction of the four castes, in other words, an untouchable, is immediately relieved of the bondage to material existence if he utters the holy name of the Lord even once. Purport. Sukadeva Goswami was speaking to Maharaj Parikshit about the activities of King Privrata, and since the king might have had doubts about these wonderful uncommon activities, Sukadeva Goswami reassured him. My dear king, he said, do not be doubtful about the wonderful activities of Privrata. For a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, everything is possible, because the Lord is also known as Urukrama. Urukrama is a name for Lord Vamandev, who performed the wonderful act of occupying the three worlds with 3 footsteps. Lord Vamandev requested 3 pieces of land from Maharaj Bali, and when Maharaj Bali agreed to grant them, the Lord immediately covered the entire world with 2 footsteps. And for his third step, he placed his foot upon Bali Maharaj's head. Sri Jayadev Goswami says, Chalayasi vikramane balim adbhuta vamana padanakha nira janita jana pavana kesavadhita vamana rupa jai jagadisa Hare. All glories to Lord Keshava, who assumed the form of a dwarf. O Lord of the universe, who takes away everything inauspicious from the devotee for the devotees, O wonderful Vamandev, you tricked the great demon Bali Maharaj by your steps. The water that touched the nails of your lotus feet when you pierce through the covering of the universe purifies all living entities in the form of the river Ganges. Since the Supreme Lord is all-powerful, He can do things that seem wonderful for a common man. Similarly, a devotee who has taken shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord can also do wonderful things unimaginable to a common man by the grace of the dust of those lotus feet. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore teaches us to take shelter of the Lord's lotus feet. Ainanda tanuja kim karam patitam mam visame bhavam budhau kripaya tava pada pankaja stita dhuli sadishyam vichintaya. O son of Nanda Maharaj, I am your eternal servant. Yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms of your lotus feet. Lord Chaitanya teaches us to come in touch with the dust of Lord's lotus feet, for then there will undoubtedly be all success. Because of the material body, every living entity in the material existence is always disturbed by sad guna, 6 whips: hunger, thirst, lamentation, illusion, invalidity, and death. Furthermore, another sad gunas are the mind and 5 sense organs. Not to speak of a sanctified devotee, even a chandala, an outcast whose untouchable, is immediately freed from material bondage if he utters the holy name of the Lord even once. Sometimes caste brahmanas argue that unless one changes his body, he cannot be accepted as brahmana. For since the present body is obtained as a result of past actions, one who has in the past acted as brahmana takes birth in a brahmana family. Therefore, they contend without such a brahminical body, one cannot be accepted as brahmana. Here it is said, however, that even Vidur Vigata, a chandala, a 5th class untouchable, is freed if he utters the holy name even once. Being freed means that he immediately changes his body. Sanatana Goswami confirms this. Yatha kanchantam yati kamashyam rasa vidhanataha tata diksha vidhanena dvijatvam jayate ninam. When a person, even though a chandala, is initiated by a pure devotee into a chanting of the holy name of the Lord, his body changes as he follows the instructions of the spiritual master. Although one cannot see how his body has changed, we must accept on the grounds of the authoritative statements of the Shastras that he changes his body. This is to be understood without arguments. This verse clearly says, Sajahati bandham, he gives up his material bondage. The body is a symbolic representation of material bondage according to one's karma. Although sometimes we cannot see the gross body changing, chanting the holy name of the Supreme Lord immediately changes the subtle body, and because the subtle body changes, the living entity is immediately freed from material bondage. After all, changes of the gross body are conducted by subtle body. After the destructions of the gross body, the subtle body takes the living entity from his present gross body to another. In the subtle body, the mind is predominant, and therefore, if one's mind is always absorbed in remembering the activities of the lotus feet of the Lord, he is to be understood to have already changed his present body and become purified. Therefore, it is irrefutable that a chandala or any fallen or low-born person can become a brahmana simply by the method of bona fide initiation. Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripatamaham bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Mishwaram. Hare Krishna. So let me frankly express, I have no qualifications to speak from Srimad Bhagavatam. I will try try to discuss and dwell uh, on this subject matter for our own purification. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, such a wonderful conversation. Yesterday I was hearing Srila Prabhupada lecture. That Prabhupada was mentioning Srila Vyasadeva has given the commentary on Vedanta Sutra, that is natural commentary, Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada was explaining. He was saying that Vedasya sarvair ahameva vedyo. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 15.15 that throughout the Vedas, or from the Vedas, he is supposed to be known. That is actually Vedanta. And what is Srimad Bhagavatam? The Srimad Bhagavatam is descriptions of Krishna's birth, Krishna's appearance, his activities, and all about Krishna's description is there, his divine qualities. So it's fully about Krishna. So this is actually the natural commentary. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate. So after many lives, people who have come to the conclusion of all the knowledge, Vedas, they understand Vasudeva Sarvamiti, that Lord Shri Krishna is all in all, he is cause of all causes, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this Srimad Bhagavatam is Bhasya Brahma Sutranam. So is the natural commentary of Vedanta Sutras. So you see, so wonderfully it is being described. Is already the Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's activities, Krishna Katha is nectarian. But when it comes from the lips of a pure devotee, Sukadeva Goswami, then it becomes even much more tasteful. And we see how Sukadeva Parikshit Maharaj is making it more and more livened by his very relevant inquiries. Like he inquires, what is the goal of a person who is going to die? What is the purpose? What is goal of a person who is going to just die? And so wonderful questions he will ask. Then we see he is becoming so mortified after hearing descriptions of all the hellish planets, and very feelingly, very genuinely is expressing that how these living entities can be freed, and is very really genuinely concerned that even Sukadeva Goswami suggests him that by atonement, they can be relieved. He is not able to accept that. He says, no, that's not going to be a foolproof. After that, again they will perform sinful activities, but desire for performing sin is not lost. And Sukadeva Goswami becomes very pleased with him because of his genuine concern and his thinking about all the living entities. We see that the qualities of a pure devotee like Parikshit Maharaj. Then when we know Aghasura pastime, that Aghasura pastimes has been described, and Sukadeva Goswami once mentioned that after 1 year they disclose this to their parents. Then he becomes very inquisitive, why after 1 year? So he wanted to know. Then we know that the whole Brahma Vimohan Leela is described, and the whole Brahma Samhita is brought into the light. So many wonderful questions Parikshit Maharaj has asked, and one of these wonderful questions here we can see in this section, that he is asking how Priyavata Maharaj, who's taken the renounced order of life, and he has reached to such an advanced stage, is taking again the family life, which is the symbol for material enjoyment. So how is this? What is mystery about this? And how after being in the family life for a long time, and he again giving it up and leaving, how this is able to do this? So this is a wonderful question. And then whole this description is being now narrated by Sukadeva Goswami, that what happened to Privrata Maharaj. And when we go through all these descriptions, we actually gets lot of precious gems of instructions and facts, or we can say tattva. Krishna says, Janma karma cha me divyam yo veti tattvata tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti so Arjuna. So when we gets to know Krishna as he is tattvata, then the result is we'll give up this body and we'll go back to Godhead. That is the potency. Delving deeper into the subject matters of Srimad Bhagavatam. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita we see, and we go more and more try to understand Bhagavad Gita. Sanjay is saying that more and more I talk about this, my hair standing on the end. I feel so joyful. As I Sansmitya, as more and more I recall this, contemplate on this. So we have heard that, or previously we read that how now Sukadeva Goswami has narrated that Privrata Maharaj was very firm that he should be in renounced order of life, and he's been very wonderfully guided by Narada Muni. But then the whole situation turned very dramatically just against this. Though he was the elder son of Swambhu Manu, and he should be taking care of the kingdom, but because of his burning desire to get Lord Sri Krishna, the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, he was just not interested in any kingdom, worldly things, and he renounced. Though he was an elderly son, he renounced and he left. Then Swambhu Manu installed Uttanapada, and then his succession was going on. They were wonderful kings in the whole succession of Uttanpad. We know that how Dhruva Maharaj and then Prachinabharhi and Daksha and all been described. And at one point of time, there was no one to rule. As Daksha left to the forest, and there was no one to take over. Then Swambhu Manu became very perplexed. Now what shall I do? Then he understands that Privrata Maharaj initially itself he was not interested. Now when he's in the renounced order of life, he's not going to come back. And especially when he's being protected by Narada Muni. So he very deeply thinks, and then he goes and requests to Lord Brahma. And then Lord Brahma also goes into meditations and tries to understand things. And he decides to come and sort the matter. And he also, Lord Brahma, along with him, he brings all the Vedas and great sages, Marichi, to convince Uttanpad, who is not going to be very easily convinced. And we see that now Uttanpad he's in the perplexed stage. What shall we do? Here Lord Brahma and all the Vedas and the Rishis, sages and his spiritual masters, Swambhu Manu, Mahabhagavata, they are all great personalities. And they are asking him to give the renounced order of life. Actually, it is quite contradictory that he's being asked to come from sannyas ashram to grihastha ashram. Generally, it will never be done. But here we see that Lord Brahma asks him to do that. And after contemplating for some time, Privrata Maharaj accepts that on a higher principle. A higher principle was that Lord Brahma has already mentioned that he is speaking to him as on the order of the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's been sent by him. And then Priyavrata Maharaj knows my spiritual master is Narad Muni and his spiritual master is Lord Brahma. And this instruction which Lord Brahma is coming, Sri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki jai, Sri Prahlad Nrsimhadev Bhagwan ki jai, Sri Nitai Gaur Sundar ki jai, Patit Pavan Prabhupada ki jai. Is not different from Narad Muni. So now it becomes the higher principles to follow the instructions of the spiritual master than to have to follow a varnashram regulations. And he decides, okay, I will do as it is asked. This is a devotional service. Though it's been quite challenging for him to do this, but on the higher principle, he accepts to do that, and which Lord Brahma also acknowledges is very auspicious. It's very auspicious for you and for everyone. And Narad Muni also, he appreciates that. Maybe so many incidents we will see in the Vedic scriptures. Even Parashuram Muni, he's been asked by his father, Jamadagni, that should chop off the head of your mother. How, would have been impossible acts to do. That father is telling cut off the head, and for some insignificant matter. He's saying that just, and then Parsuram, he does not even think twice. He's very sharp, and immediately he concludes the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he does that instantly. He cuts off the head of his mother, and Jamadagni Muni becomes very pleased. So he sets up the standard that what should be done. That the father and spiritual master has been ordered, so this has to be done. This is the most important thing. So here this we can see Prabhupada is highlighting this. Prabhupada is telling about many wonderful points are there. So first thing is this was the higher principle that is being ordered by the spiritual master, and he accepts that. Prabhupada is pointing out very technically here that how it is so. And this verse, it is mentioned that a devotee who has taken shelter of the dust from the lotus feet of the Lord can transcend the influence of the 6 material whips, namely hunger, thirst, lamentation, illusion, old age and death, and he can conquer the mind and 5 senses. So Prabhupada is giving the example that Lord appeared as Vamandev, and after appearing as a small dove, Bali Maharaj was also he was not even doubtful. He was convinced this dove will take how many space he will take. And he also told him, why you are asking such very silly things. You can take a big kingdom from me. I can give you. But he was never able to guess that this Vamandev will entirely take all his possession and himself, and everything he will take away. He was not even able to think about this. Inconceivable. It was the point of time for Bali Maharaj. Even though Sukracharya has told him that he's going to take away everything. So, And we see that how then Lord Vamandev expends himself in two steps. He takes everything and then he forces Bali Maharaj to surrender. So that was his uncommon mercy, causeless mercy of Vamandev. And that Lord Vamandev's lotus feet was the dust which been washed by the Viraja river, that the water coming from outer space, from inside the universe, that how Ganges she appeared and she washed the lotus feet of the Lord, and she became potent to purify all the three worlds. It's mentioned that Lord Shiva is called auspicious, but he becomes even more auspicious by holding the Mother Ganges on his head. So we see that throughout the three world, the Mother Ganges is purifying. Why? How she's got this potency? Because she has washed the dust on the lotus feet of the Lord. So actually, the similar potencies is being carried by pure devotee of the Lord, because he is meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord all the time. He's thinking about how to serve the lotus feet of the Lord, how to please him, and he is also similarly carrying the same potency. And when one takes shelter of such devotee, he is also instantly purified. This Prabhupada is mentioning here this famous sloka, yatha kanchantam yati kamasya rasa vidhanata tatha diksha vidhanena dvijitvam jayate ninam. So by the mercy of the pure devotee, one is completely transformed. So here one point Prabhupada is highlighting, that generally people they object how this so degraded people, you are changing them to a Brahmana. This is just some sort of deception you are doing. It is not possible. That how a person is earlier was drinking, smoking, doing everything, and now you have made him Brahmana, and you are asking him to worship the deities in the temple. How this is? It is not understood. Say that a person has to be Brahmana, he should be born in a Brahmin family. Nowadays, we see the Varnashram system is not so much prevalent, so that may not be very relevant. But just we go 200, 300 years before or 500 years before, in during Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, we see that how Buddhimatta Khan, he was asked by all the great Brahmanas that because he been sprinkled by water of by a Nawab, he has to give up his body in order to again reinstate it in the position of a Brahmana. He was rejected. So they find it very difficult to understand that how a person is transformed into from a Chandala to become a Brahmana. So it's been explained here that this is actually the potency of a pure devotee of the Lord. How the Ganges is purifying, because she is carrying the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. Similarly, the pure devotee is so potent that he is able to purify even a Chandala. And but what is the consideration? The consideration is that he is initiated by a pure devotee into chanting of the holy name, and he must accept on the ground of the authoritative statements of it's mentioned here that he actually he follows the instructions of the spiritual master. I read this. When a person, even though a Chandala, is initiated by pure devotee into chanting the holy name of the Lord, his body changes as he follows the instructions of the spiritual master. So this combination is taking place. Like mercury and bell metal, when mixed in the proper combinations, turns into gold. A very precious metal, gold, and very difficult to excavate, difficult to get, but it can be very successfully made by mixing these two, mercury and bell metal, when properly done. So similarly, we see this combination Chandala and becoming a Brahmana is very difficult, but when it is done in a proper way, actually this whole things happens. What is that? The process is pure devotee of the Lord, and when a person, he surrenders, he completely follows the instructions of the spiritual master. When this combination is there, then we will see this will turn like that. One becomes very qualified. He becomes a qualified as a Brahmana. And people will ask, how we can see he's still like that only? How he becomes a Brahmana? His body is not changed. Yes, mention his gross body is not changed, but his subtle body is changed. In the subtle body, he is taken the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord very tightly and with full conviction. So is by the mercy of pure devotee is able to do. That's what we are singing every day in Guru Vandana prayer. Prema bhakti jaha hoite avidya vinasa jate. Vede gaye jahara charita. That all the Vedas, they glorifying the glories of pure devotee. People, they, because of their love for them, prema bhakti, they are able to immediately cross over the ocean of nescience. So this is because of that bondage, that connection, people are able to transcend this. The subtle body, they are able to give up. They are able to give up their all bad habits. You can see in the Srila Prabhupada was preaching into West, and people were so much inspired, all these Westerners. So even though they were taking drugs and they went to all sorts of bad habits, but just they had so much faith and attraction towards Srila Prabhupada, because he told them, they gave it up. And we see that they were transformed. And they were transformed, and they were actually getting a great joy while chanting the holy name of the Lord. That is actually the taste. No? When we are chanting, we like to chant more. Then we know that we are chanting nicely. And then we get that feeling. So this is an important point to note here, that when we take shelter in such a way, then we see that our transformation takes place. Actually, that's what Prabhupada mentions, that is actually the real initiation. When he met Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was very convinced, and he dedicated his life during his first meeting itself. And we see that throughout his life he was meditating on that first instruction, that why don't you preach the message of Lord Chaitanya in the Western countries. Throughout, and then at the advanced stage, 70 years, he crosses over the ocean with such a hardship, and he is completely meditating on that pastime, on that instructions. So, and then later, he formally take initiation in Prayagraj after 10 years. So, this very nice point here is mentioned, that that's how the transformation is taking place. So, Sukadeva Goswami is saying to Parikshit Maharaj not to get very astonished that Priyavata Maharaj, he will perform all this wonderful, he will achieve so many wonderful things. This has not been narrated those pastimes, but still he's preparing him that don't get so wonderstruck that how is possible. What Priyavrata Maharaj has done, he was moving like another sun. We see that, and he divided the whole earth into 7 islands. We know the earth was earlier, it was a flat, covering the closing the half hemispheres of the universe. And then Priyavrata Maharaj divided into 7 islands. And then during his kingdom, he was moving like another sun. So when the sun was not there in night time, he was there, and everything was everything was lit up. How we will see in the very uncommon and impossible that he is acting like another sun. So then he is saying, Sukadeva Goswami, that don't get wonderstruck by seeing the uncommon activities, because the Lord, he's giving the example of Urukrama. The Lord Vamandev also performed such wonderful activities, and by their mercy, causeless mercy, a pure devotee of Krishna also can perform such a wonderful thing, which is impossible to achieve. We see this famous conversation of Prabhupada and one of his disciples, that why Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he did not, he was a pure devotee of the Lord, he did not made the whole world Krishna conscious. And Prabhupada will reply that he could have done very easily. He's a pure devotee of the Lord, and everything is possible. But it was his great mercy upon all of his followers, so that he has left the remaining service for us. He would have all alone delivered the whole universe. There is no doubt about this in Srila Prabhupada's mind. But same time, he is very, very greatly concerned, merciful, that he has left something for us to do. We get an opportunity and the credit to do that. So, how Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur would have delivered the whole universe, being one person, his pure devotee of the Lord, we can see that how Priyavrata Maharaj has done this wonderful thing. How the Lord he is doing. When the Lord is doing, he can empower. He's a servant, he's a pure servant of the Lord to achieve some such wonderful feats, which is generally uncommon even to conceive. So this is what is being highlighted here, that the pure devotee of the Lord, being perfectly connected with the Supreme Lord, they are able to perform such uncommon things. And Sukadeva Goswami is saying Parikshit Maharaj not to get wonderstruck about these things, saying that it is possible. So the higher principle is we should understand, follow the instructions of the spiritual master. That is all auspicious. And being a pure devotee of Krishna, we should have no doubt that this is going to benefit everybody, including us. So this is the Prabhupada is bringing out this, and is saying that this all happens by the mercy of the Lord, and when we do this, we get purified. That all unwanted things, hunger, thirst, lamentation, all 6 weeps, and then 5 senses and mind, which is very difficult to control. You can easily overcome all these things. We can very easily overcome all these things because of that potency, that purification that happens, which otherwise is very difficult. We will see there are many people, they are astonished seeing devotees, that how these people goes to Hare Krishna temple and then they give up drinking tea and coffee. This is a big surprise to so many people. And then they think when it's all not possible, so these people are making drama. And they are hiding somewhere and doing all these things. And sometimes if they discover some neophyte devotees, doing this, then they see us. What we were thinking is correct. These people never will be able to give up these things. So people will get very surprised that how this tea, coffee, these people they give up. And they don't go to cinema, theater. These people are very surprised. But we see for even a person who's coming, initially itself he is able to give it up with not so much of endeavor. I have seen devotees, instantly they give up. And then never in their life they will see this again. How this is possible, how this transformation is taking place. The heart is how getting transformed. This is mercy of the Supreme Lord, the holy name of the Lord. That is coming through the Guru Parampara, to the person who is sincere. So this both is there. It's like a person is sincere, and then the mercy is there. And then this combination works out so wonderfully that it is generally it is very difficult to understand. Anta Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. If any comments there, any question is there, we can take. Tidvanshla Pupad ki jai.